Hey, what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Rayge, and we are back today to talk about the legendary section and starting off here in the next section of Dark Dimension 7. Now, the biggest advice I can give for you guys going through this is make sure you're planning around the materials you have and the resources, because for me, the five characters I've decided to utilize here is because I didn't have enough resources, such as my tech mini uniques. I didn't have enough unique materials for certain characters and bio gear. So that's kind of what opted for my decision of these five characters. Now, having said that, the legendary section overall is actually really easy. So you also want to be mindful of, not over investing, and at the same time, if this is what's stopping you from finishing Dark Dimension 7, if you already have all your mythic characters ready to go, then in my opinion, I don't think it matters the 5, so as long as you're able to work around your resources. That is why my starting 5 is going to be quite different from a lot of folks. For me, the gear that worked out was Adam Warlock, Black Cat, Omega Red, Old Man Logan, and as well as Rogue. For me, I was lucky enough that I do have 3 mutant characters here, being able to bring them all up. I was lacking in skill as well as bio gear, but thankfully these 5 are the starting 5. In a perfect world, I would have loved to bring in, characters like Morgan Le Fay, Nova, Green Goblin Classic. But like I said, guys, the legendary section is definitely one of the easier sections in Dark Dimension 7, probably next to Cosmic and City in terms of ease of getting through it. So the biggest and most important character is Old Man Logan, making sure you have him, because he can solo a lot of the content there. So without further ado, this is my first attack here in the first node of Dark Dimension 7. This is the placement I have here, and what I do like and appreciate about this team, having used them now, is that they have a lot of crowd controlling aspects. I mean, almost each of the characters have their own ability block or some sort of control, like a stun, so you'll see that here. So starting off, there was a bit of RNG involved here to make sure my characters didn't actually die, so this is the placement that worked for myself. But you'll find Old Man Logan and Black Cat are probably going to be the most important pieces here. I found that my Rogue and Adam Warlock did die quite a bit, but again, we want to be mindful of the stun. So I personally would recommend using a big, heavy crowd control on Quicksilver on that far left side. If controlling him is really big, and then I usually scan around to see which other characters are getting their turn as well. And I like Rogue because her special is able to soak away and direct attention and protect some of the most important pieces on the team, which in this case is Old Man Logan and Black Cat. Black Cat is situated next to Rogue because she can actually take a lot of beating, and she's statistically one of the better characters out of this mix here, just because the other characters are not doing so great. But once we start the train here with Old Man Logan and his debuffs, this is where you can kind of start steamrolling, because just look at what he's doing to the entire team. Absolutely crazy stuff. The debuffs, and again, like I said, a big one is controlling the Quicksilver, but we're also being mindful of characters getting their attacks here. Thankfully, their Omega Red is blocked. We're trying to now finish off Quicksilver, and the taunts, the tanks on this enemy team are disrupted as well, so they can't really get a taunt, which protects us from, obviously targeting whoever we want, especially if we want to, prioritize here and finish off key priority targets. So at some point, Quicksilver is probably going to get his abilities off, just because that's kind of his mechanic. But you can see we're close to finishing him off here with all the bleeds, and that's why it was very, very important to bring in Old Man Logan. And if you're able to, always try to use his ultimate as much as you can. I like saving his special when he loses the revive as well. Him having that special as a stun is going to be key in those pivotal moments where there is a character, getting ready to go here pretty soon. So at this point, yeah, it's completely up to you how you want to manage this. I personally like using Omega Red just to hit some AoE targets. I save his ultimate usually for a massive group. So right now we're looking really good. You can see the debuffs that we're up against, and the team is doing great. And just taking your time and watching these guys bleed out slowly but surely, and like I said, if you're able to, if there's characters that already have like ability blocks like on them, you can just save up your energy, because you can just prepare for the next wave coming. But the one thing to be mindful of is there's not really a healer on our team, so you'll find some of your HP pools might get low, as you can see with my Rogue and Adam Warlock. So if you're finding this issue too, if going back now, I would have placed like an ISO 8 healer on one of my characters. That way they could be getting a little bit more heals. Even placing it on a character like Old Man Logan, where he's getting a lot of turn meter for every time he does an attack, it could be really, really key, because you can see like our characters are just low on HP and they're not healing. And what it would have been nice was just to get a little bit of regen in. Okay, so next wave here, starting off, you'll see that it's going to be a mixture of this Extreme X-Men team with some other X-Men characters. So you just want to be mindful of these synergies. The big one to target is going to be Rogue, as well as Nightcrawler. Anytime you see a Rogue in this node, make sure you guys are controlling her, because if she gets her special off, it's going to be the same thing as what we did to the enemies, right? Which is, you know, that heavy wall that you have to get through. So just something to be mindful of there. So don't hesitate to use the Old Man Logan stun on her. Again, spreading those debuffs, just beautiful synergy here. And now we do want to focus on Nightcrawler, just because he has some really potent abilities that can benefit this team. Also be watchful of Beast, because Beast can obviously provide some heals, but thankfully most of these characters do have trauma and heal block, so it's not going to matter. Here we go, another massive Old Man Logan ultimate. And like I said, this is why I feel like he's a must-have for this node. Even if you bring in some 4 other random legendary characters, you can see the amount of input that Old Man Logan's doing. So really make sure that you have him on this team, because he's going to be a difference maker. So we see Beast getting his turn obviously pretty soon here. We're going to control him, Rogue, and now we're just going to resume business. You can see there's not much these characters can do against us. We're just scanning around and seeing who gets a turn, and then again using our massive crowd controlling aspect to make sure that these characters cannot do anything against us. And boom, once again, Old Man Logan just controlling things. Like, just see the amount of input, guys. If there's anything to take away, make sure you bring him. He's just such a monster for this legendary section here. So I'm just gonna cut out some of the footage here just to save you guys a bit of time. And then boom, once we finish off the last enemy, you are going to be up against this monster wave here with Apocalypse. Now, to be honest, I tried a few times, and you know, it's probably possible to get the one shot, but if you just want a safety net, it's probably easier just to let these characters have their turn and go, because Apocalypse is going to get his abilities off, right? So you can see I'm trying here to land a couple of stuns, but the thing is that with Apocalypse having that immunity and as well as safeguard at the very beginning, there's not much you can do. But you can go ahead, you can do the debuffs, try to do as much as you can, because our cooldowns are pretty low here. But yeah, like it's just because with him not being controllable, you can only basically target everybody else but Apocalypse. But the good news is that you can at least put yourself in a position where you can start building up cooldowns in the next attack, which is what I was planning to do here. The big one again, the Rogue, the Nightcrawlers, they need to be controlled, otherwise they can be very dangerous with repeated attacks with Apocalypse. So like I said, he's going to get his ultimate off, and then he's probably going to target one of your allies, so you really can't do much. But what you can do here is, like I said, I'm trying to just do as much damage as I can. And I know with Old Man Logan, he gets his cooldowns back very fast with energy, self-granting energy. So, you know, we're okay with using the debuffs. And he also has his revive as well, which makes him a little stronger and lasting a little bit longer. But again, just be very careful in this wave, just because there are some enemies here with the Extreme X-Men synergy where it can be dangerous if you're not careful. So we just go ahead, we're just going to target some of the big damage dealers like Omega Red, Nightcrawler. If you want, you can target Apocalypse a few times, which is kind of what I did right there, just to try to get him down a little bit lower. But yeah, there's not much you can do, because you can see how half our team is already gone in that one attack, right? So once again, Old Man Logan here with the big special. So you can go ahead, you can still do a little bit of work there. We can actually use the stun because of the fact that there's trauma on Apocalypse. So you can see we're doing some really good work considering it's 3v5. So that's what I'm saying, like, yeah, with the right RNG, probably could have gotten it done with the one shot, but it is a little bit more stressful. Anywho, I tried my best here anyways to see how much we can take down, but you'll see pretty shortly here how fast they can get erupted. So you can see the Storm actually activated her massive ultimate, and that's how our team got destroyed here. But that's okay, because we did some really good bleeds, as you can see, the debuffs, and now we're going to be going in for a nice big clean attack. So there you guys have it. That's my first attack here, fully edited. I'll be back soon with some more videos, guys. But yeah, legendary section overall super smooth, and I'm pretty happy with this first attack, especially the amount of damage that we were doing. And let me just show you, overall really good, 238 million. So thank you for your time as always. I'll catch you guys in the next one.